Reddit Martian back with another tip-top video for you. r/AskReddit. What was the most porno situation you've ever had? I was watching porn in the living room when my stepmom walked in. It was nothing like the simulations. I'm more amazed at the fact you were watching porn in your living room when your family was home. To be fair, sometimes you've got to watch the quality content on the big screen. My co-worker came to my office and said, "Come with me." She starts leading me down to the basement where there's never any other people. Turns out she just needed me to carry something heavy. Oof. Better than getting murdered. Mate. Yeah. Is it too much to ask for both? I lost my virginity working at a bar because my boss said to me, "Would you duck that girl over there?" I said, "Yeah, for sure." And he said, "You're cut. Punch out and take her home." To which I had to really wonder if he was ducking with me. But no. He was not. Plot twist. Boss didn't care about your love life. He just didn't want to pay you overtime. The boss paid a hooker for the shy boy. It was the boss wife and he was sick of her complaints about their ex-life. Second most plausible explanation. Back when I delivered pizza, I was greeted at the door by a woman wearing the skimpiest of clothing, nearly completely see-through. I think she noticed that I was looking at her nipples and she mentioned her and her husband were swingers. Asked me to come inside but my anxious butt declined, so she just took off her top and gave me some cash. Reading this thread has made me realize how painfully boring my life is. I had a pest control guy come into my condo without really knocking when I was about 20 years old. I had just gotten out of the shower, so I was in only a bathrobe. I also had just done laundry, so all my delicates like bras, panties and lacy lingerie were hanging around to dry. I have no idea what that poor guy was thinking I was trying to do, but I swear I just didn't realize he was coming. Hopefully not on your clean delicates. We have a black leather couch in the office. A while back was doing some physical therapy and walking back and forth in some parallel bars. It was me, male, my therapist, female, and a trainee who was shadowing her for a few weeks, male. She needed to check that my glutes were properly activating as I walked and he needed the experience to know what to look for. So I was slowly walking back and forth while they shuffled along behind me, a hand on each of my butt cheeks. The situation was normal, professional enough until another therapist, female, walked into the room and sort of froze in surprise, trying not to laugh. It was hard to deny the ridiculousness of it after that, and then they fingered you. A high school friend's parents were out of town for the weekend, so I was sleeping over at his house. He goes to bed early but I'm not tired, so I'm downstairs watching TV. His sister, about a year younger, comes in and sits on the other side of the couch. I forget what movie we're watching, but there was a fashion show and all the models came out wearing nothing. Sister asks, "Do guys get hard watching stuff like this?" I wasn't, but started when she asked. I was still not exactly a confident high schooler, but she was cute and I felt relaxed around her. So I said something like, "Sometimes. Depends." "Why? Do you get wet?" She giggled but didn't say anything for a moment. Then she looked over me and asked if I was hard. I was a little scared that my friend would hear or walk in, but I knew he was upstairs and I was a horny teen. So I said, "Yep, want to see?" She did. I showed her. Got a BJ. Ate her out. Good movie. Girl. Spread eagle on my bed in short shorts talking about how flexible she is. Me. "Are you even paying attention? You asked me who David Attenborough was and I'm showing you. Please focus." Watch as the human male fumbles his mating opportunity with a willing female. This will be an important lesson he will remember next mating season. My freshman year of college, a girl was going door to door in the dorms offering to give head for someone to do her chemistry homework. Never been so upset I didn't pay attention in high school chem. I had a similar situation, except it was high school and the class was math. She asked if I would do her math assignment. I, being a 16-year male, said, "Suck my dick." She counted with you do my assignment I'll have X with you. I did her assignment we had X. I was barely passing math class. She got pissed cause I bombed her assignment but beggars can't be choosers. When my sister's French exchange student came to the UK to stay with us after she left university to help improve her English, one night after a few too many drinks she came into the bathroom while I was having a shower and everything went way better than expected. First actual encounter was while camping out with two girls on New Year's Eve in a situation framed by a very basic and immature premise that ended in, well, you could just have X with us instead. The real kicker, I lost my virginity like 7 years later. The night was hours of foreplay, oral and groping, but we refrained from actual X as we didn't have protection. I received my first BJ by a nurse in a hospital restroom. She's now my wife. Edit. Wow. Didn't expect this to blow up. So more details for those asking. I wasn't a patient. I was a housekeeper on midnights. She was getting off her shift and knew I was alone cleaning the surgery suites. She came and found me. I took her back to the staff restroom, a nice one with a shower. In the locker rooms, we made out, and the rest is history. Was she the head nurse? Edit. Thank you kind strangers. Went to a friend's house party and ended up in a foursome with him, his girlfriend, and one of his girlfriend's girlfriends. I had way too much to drink though, so with that on top of the anxiety about the whole situation, I couldn't perform at all. I'm barely a twosome kind of guy, let alone a foursome. No idea how that whole thing happened. I'm barely a twosome kind of guy. I'm more of a handsome type of guy. Edit. It blew up so fast. Was talking with a co-worker at my office. I don't even recall what she said but I responded with, "Ah, you suck." She looked at me slyly and said, "Yes, but do I swallow?" She did. This above average looking girl in high school took a shower in our boys' cottage during a survival trip in the Ardennes. They wouldn't return to the girls' cottages for a few hours and she was dirty from spelunking. We chatted while she was showering. I had my back turned because I am a good boy. She turns off the water and a few moments later she says, "You can turn around now. There's nothing interesting to see anymore." I turned around and she was completely naked. I was completely awestruck and spoke the legendary words, "Nothing to see there indeed," and proceeded to pack my sandwiches for the next day. I probably ruined her self-confidence for a few years with 5 words, but I was completely confuzzled and not romantically interested in her. Makes me kinda sad when I think back about it now. I don't know why, but reading this made me so angry with you lol. My mom hired a guy to build us a deck and I saw him looking at me through my upstairs window on the first day. He was super hot and Russian and the idea of us being alone and him working while I brought him drinks and snacks was so exciting. Me being an 18-year-old was already sold into the idea of screwing my contractor. We ducked on the last day of installation. He was a good lay but the deck turned out like shit. That's so disappointing. I hate it when a contractor does bad work and ducks my kids. My friend called me to ask if I could help her change the shower head. Sure, no biggie. Then after I do it she asks if I want a massage. I'm laying on my stomach and next thing I know she's topless giving me a massage and things went from there. Met a girl through a friend in college. She had a lot of issues with her laptop so I came over one day and fixed it up for her. She paid me with a BJ and finished me off on her face. She took a selfie with my phone and I haven't seen or spoken with her much since. I hooked up with my friend's mom when I was 19 or 20. It was absolutely as awesome as I'd been imagining it since I hit puberty. Edit. So basically me and a few friends were at my friend's house drinking one night. We were all under the impression that his mom was gone for the night. When it came time to pass out for the evening, instead of opting for the cramped love seat in his living room or on the floor, I decided I'd just crash on his mom's bed instead. Well, 30 or so minutes later, The door creaks open and she turns on the light. No big deal really. I explained why I was up there and began to excuse myself, not even really thinking anything of it. Then she says no, it's okay. I don't mind if you stay. Instant boner. She then undressed right there in front of me and put on one of those little silk nightgown type things and crawled in bed next to me. I'm pretty well frozen with excitement fear. Apparently she recognized that and just went for it. Reached over and slid her hand down my stomach and inside my shorts. After that, I snapped from my brief paralysis and handled business. Afterwards I excused myself downstairs so as to not raise anybody's suspicions in the morning. Nice try, porn company. Get your ideas elsewhere. Years ago, my parents were not really happy with my sister after she came out as gay, so she wasn't invited to Thanksgiving. To support her, I went to her gay orphan's Thanksgiving with her friends instead of my parents. While there, I met this woman who I got along with really well, but I figured she was, well, a lesbian. Later, we were washing the dishes, and she says, I think we're the only two straight people here. I go, I think so. She says, I think that means we have to duck. We did. One that I still kick myself for. I work as a gardener so I'm halfway there already, but at one of my former sites there was an older woman who lived there. She was late 40s early 50s but had aged like a fine wine. Great body, lovely face and an attractive personality that made you feel easy around her. She'd jokingly flirt all of the time too, which to then 21-year-old me had me real hot under the collars. One day I was using some rope for a job when she asked if I could help her move something heavy in her apartment. Me being the guy I am agreed, so I went into her apartment with the rope still in hand. Moved the stuff for her and she took notice of my rope, crossed her wrists over and said, "Oh, is that for me, sir?" or something like that, whilst giving me now what I know as the look. I chuckled but left the apartment, where I immediately realized that I had an opportunity to playfully ramp up the flirting and see where it went. I was young and inexperienced, but in hindsight she all but handed me a condom and I used it as a balloon to float away instead. Do you know what you are? That's right, you're a champ. Thanks for watching. Like and share if you enjoyed, don't forget the bell. Subscribe for more videos. See you soon, Martians.